Hi, I'm Mike Gogol from the Environmental Committee, and today we're going to talk about how to identify native saplings that you'll find on your property. Hopefully, you'll think about buying some of our sapling cages and protecting some of these so that they can grow up and replenish our forests later. What we have here is a whole set of saplings that you might find, and these are a few of the trees I've found on my property. This is a sassafras tree, and the way you can recognize it is it's actually got three shaped leaves. Now this one only has two, but these little mittens are a dead giveaway that this is a sassafras. This tree is very interesting because most of mine are dying because they've reached the end of their life. They only live for 30 years and there's no new ones replenishing the supply. The next tree I've found, and very common in our neighborhood, are oak trees. We have a number of oaks, and I have a number of examples here. Each is a little different. This is a chestnut oak, and these are typically found more on the south side of the lake. And this tree has leaves that resemble the American chestnut. There's multiple points, and they sort of have a hook to each one. Whereas this is a red oak, and this is a white oak. You'll recognize the difference because the red oak has pointy ends to the leaves and the white oak has circular leaves. All of these are great trees to protect, and they make up the backbone of our forest here. Another typical tree is a red maple. And the way you know it's a red maple is because it's got 3 primary lobes on it. And we have lots of red maples. They're very prolific. One person once told me that they're kind of like the dandelions of the forest. When other things won't grow, they pop up everywhere. So I personally am not big for promoting them, but it's certainly your forest. We also have a black gum tree, often called a tupelo tree. And its leaves are really tightly together so that you can see it's almost like they're one circle of leaves. And this is a really nice tree. We don't have a whole lot of them, but they are kind of replacing some of our other trees that are sick and dying. So if you see this tree with the multiple leaves, that's a black gum. And this is something I've just started to find in my neighborhood, but this is a black cherry. Now you can see the difference in it, how it's a very long lance-shaped leaf, and there's a little bit of serration, and there's red on the stalk. So that's a black cherry tree. That's another great one to salvage. Now, 2 understory trees. Now, what understory trees are trees that don't really grow up to the canopy, but they're like lower shrubs and trees. One is a serviceberry, and this is called a downy serviceberry. And there's quite a few of these already growing, but it's nice to keep them growing. In the early spring, you see a lot of white flowers out in the neighborhood, like in smaller trees. That's the serviceberry blooming. And this is what it looks like, and has a lot of serration on the leaf. So finally, we have a witch hazel, which is not necessarily a tree, but it's an understory plant. You've probably seen them, and they flower in the fall. Now, the witch hazel is the source of that witch hazel you buy at the store. And all of our witch hazels are getting very old, and we really need to start bringing in some new witch hazels into the understory, because I know several of mine have already died because there's no replenishment. They age out. Trees get old just like us. This is just an overview of many of the saplings that you can find on your own property. Hopefully you'll think about purchasing some sapling cages from the Environmental Committee and protect those for future generations.